William J. Collins, Jr., Lieutenant, United States Naval Reserve, and served on the Second Fleet Command Ship USS Newport News all over the Atlantic arena. It was also a NATO command vessel, Commander Strike Fleet Atlantic, and Vice Admiral, Commander United States Second Fleet. So we went on NATO exercises. We went many places. We had a change of command ceremony on the harbor in Oslo, Norway. We participated in the Cold War, not because we wanted to, but Russian Badgers and Bears would overfly us on any number of occasions, especially when we were off the coast of England or Norway or someplace like that. The change of command ceremony for Second Fleet, Commander Strike Force Atlantic, was in the harbor at Oslo. We took the Kiel Canal, went down to Hamburg, Germany. Some of us, they flew over to Berlin so that we could see the wall and visit with sailors in the German Navy. And some of us, not me, some of us were allowed to go on the other side of the wall. I couldn't go because of my security clearance. I was in naval communications, I think I mentioned earlier, so I couldn't go. But some of the highlights of that is that I have a picture of me taking a picture of a East German Vopo across the wall. He's taking a picture of me and I'm taking a picture of him, and then another picture of me standing in front of the real Checkpoint Charlie. You know, Checkpoint Charlie still exists, but it's in a museum now. And it was an active facility at the time. So that was a highlight of that trip. I was as I said, a communications watch officer, and that meant that I was also an armed forces courier, which meant that any time that cryptographic key cards, this is before digital, everything was analog, and we had computerized communication systems, and they were run with cryptographic key cards. You put the card in the machine and it would make the machine operate in accordance with the instructions on that card, like the IBM holes punched in cards. And if a communications station or any armed forces communications arena needed service, they would pick people like me who had been trained to be couriers to deliver those cards. And it was a kind of a humorous time in my life, because I went to these weird places like Port Laodi in Morocco, and I went from Hamburg down to Frankfurt to deliver key cards to, at that time, Rhine-Main Air Force Base, which doesn't exist now. But the United States Navy said you can't deliver security material without being armed. NATO and the defeated European Union, which was only 20 years old, it wasn't a European Union then either, they said that you cannot walk down the street in Frankfurt, Germany with a gun on. Well, I had to get to Rhine-Main Air Force Base, and taxi let me off about 4 blocks from where I was supposed to go, and I'm walking down the street with this gun on my side. Of course, I had the khaki uniform on, so I was doing this. I had the gun. I got away with it. Anyway, nothing was ever said, nothing ever happened. So I went on back to the ship. But I had many opportunities to go places I would not have gone because of being an armed forces courier. And that's just another part of being aboard a command ship. And the command ship Newport News was a Salem-class cruiser, 21,000 tons, 717 feet long, and 9 8-inch 50 caliber guns, which if you fired a broadside, that is all 9 guns going off at one time, the ship would move sideways several yards because of the concussion from the guns. You didn't want to be on the deck, open deck, when they went off because the sound was horrific. Oftentimes you didn't have much choice because if you were up at CIC or on the navigation deck, it was almost like being out there with it. The other aspect of being on a ship like that, you learn a lot about the Navy that you otherwise wouldn't learn because you were not only operating as ship's company, but you were temporary additional duty to the staff of the flagship admiral, in which case was a 3-star admiral. So you were being privy or shared with information at the highest order, and the admiral, the 3-star admiral that was on our ship, worked for the admiral which was commander United States Atlantic Fleet. And in this case, it was Senator John McCain's father. So I had the opportunity to say to my family, I worked for John McCain, the big John McCain, who was only 5 feet 3 or 4 inches tall. And it was just a magnificent time to be in the service for that kind of exposure.